Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Beautiful job, unbelievable. Rabbi Isai, I feel bad. We have to do a gadata now. The Olam likes lumdus. They don't want a gadata, but that's how daf yomi is. Sometimes you get a daf of a gadata, sometimes you have lumdus, sometimes you have both. Says the Gemara, last line on daf peiches. Amud Beis, Chap Arayin, Daf Chap Arayin. Shalom B'schar Shomar Avram Avinu. So yesterday we had in the schar that Avram Avinu said the two words Offer ve'efer. So Klal Yisrael has two mitzvahs of Efer of the Paraduma and the Offer of the Saita. But we explained that these are two mitzvahs that Klal Yisrael enjoys and benefits in this world. You become tar through a Paraduma, and that's great. It helps you. You also, a woman can become mutter to her husband through the offer. So, V'amarav, he continues, same theme, B'schar Shoma Avram Avinu imchut b'atzroichnal. I will not benefit from the Zdoimis. I beat them in the war. I could take the loot, but I'm not taking even a shoelace. I don't want anything. I don't want to benefit from them. Halachically, he was allowed to take it. So because he used those two words, I guess HaKadosh Baruch Hu recognized the godless in that. He appreciated it. So, Zachu banav l'shtei mitzvahs. One for the chut, a string, and one for the shoelace. Zachu banav l'shtei mitzvahs, l'chut shel tcheles, the string of tcheles, l'chut shel tcheles, u'ritzua shel tefillin. Because Avram Avinu said, Sreichnal, so Klal Yisrael has a ritzua of tefillin. Now, we have to understand, based on what we said yesterday, that these mitzvahs are beneficial for Klal Yisrael. What's the benefit of tchelos and what's the benefit of the ritzua of tefillin? Bishlam ritzua shel tefillin ksiv v'ro kol amei oretz ki shem Hashem nikra alecha. Now, in the ritzua, if you pay attention, so the tefillin shel roish has a shin, and the back of it is a dalid. So it's the part of the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shakai. So it says about tefillin, V'ro kol amei haaretz, the nations will see, Kishem Hashem nikra alecha, Hashem's name is called on you. V'tanya Rebbe Lezer Gadol Omer, Elu tefillin sheberoish. These are the tefillin of roish, not shel yad. Roish, because it has the shin, it has the dalid. So that's Shem Hashem. It's 2/3 of Hashem's name. They'll see it. Elu tefillin sheberoish. In other words, here's a perfect example. The story explains the Gemara. The question is, how do Klal Yisrael benefit from tefillin? Here, they benefit because when you wear tefillin, the nations fear you. What benefit is there when a Jew wears a blue string on his tzitzis? The answer is because why is it blue? Why is it not red or any other color? The famous Gemara. Because tcheles is similar to the ocean. V'yam doim l'rikia. And the ocean is similar to the heaven. V'rikia doim l'evan saper. And the heaven's color is similar to the sapphire. V'evan saper doim l'kisei kavod. And eventually, the way the human brain works, the famous Gemara, it says you're not allowed to look at clothing of a woman that's hanging on the clothesline, drying, let's say, because it'll remind you of a woman. The way the brain works is by association. You see this color, and you see in your mind, all of a sudden, and you're eventually going to get to the Kisei HaKavod. Hopefully, through looking at the blue. So Mela, Alfie, what's the pshat over here? So typically speaking, why am I asking you? Because I want you to come out with the chiddush from the shir, finally. Rashi says it's the reverse of what it says in the Gemara. We're thinking about in terms of us. We're going to see the string, and we're going to see the ocean, the heaven, the sapphire, the Kisei HaKavod. Says Rashi, no, it's about the Rebbeinu Shalom. The Rebbeinu Shalom sees his Kisei HaKavod, he goes to the sapphire, and he remembers the tchelis that the Jews are wearing, and then he favors the Yidden. It's not us, it's the Rebbeinu Shalom, says Rashi. Here, in case you don't know where the Rashi is, or you're in a truck somewhere and you want to see it, it's on the screen, and Rashi says all the way at the end, It's beautiful lashon. When he looks at his own kisei hakavod, niskar b'mitzvah zu shekeneged kol mitzvahs. Tchelis and tzitzis is equal to all the mitzvahs. It represents all the mitzvahs, the entire mitzvahs. D'chsev vayiru eis elokei Yisrael v'sachas raglov k'maisa livnes hasaper k'etzem shemayim toyar. Okay. D'chsev k'mari even saper d'mus kisei omer babo v'mamish nagadata. Kosher gezel hanechal. If a person steals something and then he eats it, he consumes it. Shafilu tzadikim gemur remaining micholim lachzirah. It's very difficult to return something that's consumed. Shenemar bilodai rak asher ochlo hana'orim. Avraham Avinu says by Zdaim again, I'll return everything. I return all the loot, but I cannot return that which my soldiers, my talmidim, my people, the Na'arim, the youngsters, they ate. They came in and they ate. They were hungry. They ate food. Amar Yechanan Mishum Reb Elazar. Yeah. So what do you? Again, I just don't want to miss the point. Avraham Avinu didn't steal. Avraham Avinu was saying that you know what? I'm a tzaddik. I'm going to Fnei Mishur Sadin. I'm going to give you back all the loot, all your gold, silver, animals, all that. But it's difficult for me to come out of pocket, so to speak, for food that my people took, which they're allowed to take halachically because we're winning the war. We're taking from you. But so you see the difficulty a person has to go back and pay up with. It's like difficult to pay back a loan, right? Take somebody's money, you ain't paying back now. It's already used up. It's hard. That's what the Gemara says there. Amar Rabbi Yechanan. Amar Rabbi Shimon Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon. Kol makom shata moitze dvar shel Rabbi Elazar b'noi shel Rabbi Yossi HaGlili b'Haggadah. When you're in this Haggadah and you hear his words, Aseyos necha kafarkeses. Oh, what's a farkeses? Here we have an farkeses. It's a hopper. So you put a lot of wheat on the top, and it's a funnel. It funnels down to the bottom pipe. You see, it becomes very, very narrow. So what does that have to do with a human being? Here, make your ears large so the Torah goes in, goes straight in, and it becomes narrow on the bottom, so it goes right into the head, into the brain. The famous pasuk, Hashem says, don't think that I love you because you're such a huge nation. You're like the Chinese, you have 1 billion people, and that's why I chose you. Fakert. You are the least, you're the smallest nation. Even to this day, we're so tiny. Says the Gemara, listen to this. It's not as you think, that Hashem loves us because we are, even though we are very few. He has a new pshat. I love you, I want you. Even when I bestow upon you greatness, you make yourself small, you act ba'anava, and that's why I love you so much. So memela, the word, look at this word over here. Ki atem ha'ma'at, you are the few. No, you are the small, you are the anavim. Ma'at means you belittle yourself, you made yourself small. That's the pshat of ma'at. Because otherwise it doesn't make sense. HaKadosh Baruch Hu cares about numbers. He cares about 1 million versus 10 million. No. He cares about anava, that's what he cares. Nosati gdula Avram. Did I read it all? For instance, Nosati gdula Avram. I gave Avram everything. Like we saw yesterday. What am I? I'm ash and dirt. LeMoshe Aaron, he gave Moshe and Aaron Omru v'nachnu ma. What are we? So what's less? Ofer ve'efer or ma? Huh? What's less? What do you think? Anybody? Ma. Ma. Because ma is not even ashes. Ashes and dirt you could cover a blood of a behemoth with. What's ma? Ma is nothing. LeDavid Omar v'noichi toilas v'lo ish. I'm a worm. But the nations are different. Whoever I gave greatness, he took it and used it against me, says Hashem. Let's go to war against Hashem. Let's build a city. The Paro, and he gave Gedula to Paro. So what did Paro do? Omar, Paro said, Mi Hashem, Asher Eshma B'koiloi. Who's this Hashem that I should listen to? The Sancheiriv, I gave power to Sancheiriv. Omar, what did he say? Mi B'chol Elikei Ha'arotzois, Ki Yatzel Hashem Es Yerushalayim Yodi. You think Hashem is going to be able to save Yerushalayim from my hands? He's going to war with Hashem. The Nebuchadnezzar Omar, Ela Al B'Masei I'll go up there and what? It's a lotion of, I'll go up there and I'll, to spite Hashem. L'chiram melech tsar. What did Chiram do? Omar Moshe v'Elokim yeshafti b'leiv yamim. He went there, he had a place, he had an island, Hamish's island home, and he built a 7-story structure, and he sat on top of it. Here we have a picture. Chiram, he went up there and he says, I'm going to sit up there and be like Hashem. He sit on the 7th floor. He thought he's a big chacham. Today we have 110 floors or whatever more. Omar Rovel, Rabbi Yochanan, what's said about Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron that they said Ma, where nothing is more than Avram Avinu. I'm just thinking out loud. We said that because Avram Avinu said those 2 words, off of Efer, Hashem gave us 2 mitzvahs. And if he would have said Ma, what could Hashem give us for Ma? Ma is nothing. What mitzvah do you have for nothing? Stam, it's not even a hara. It's more of a joke. Not a joke. I don't know what the answer is. But okay. So it's more, it's bigger godless, it's more of anova. Rabbi say, everybody knows this, but to repeat, it's not the pshat that Moshe Rabbeinu was like a high school student that's trying to be an anav, and he walks around like this, he's an anav. Moshe Rabbeinu knew exactly who he was. The anova doesn't mean that you think that you're nothing. He's not a ma. He knows that he's the greatest in class. He knows he's the biggest Navi. He knows he's the biggest Baal Kishrin, and he remembers the most, and he's the smartest, and everything. Afal Piken, he realizes that he's not better than another human being. That he's not greater. He doesn't think of himself as wow. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't know his milos. Of course, he knows why he is. What makes him bigger doesn't mean that he's more important to Hashem. What are we? You should know that the world today is because in Aaron and Moshe's schus. They said, what are we? In Eoiv it says, Toile eretz al blima. What does the word blima mean? Beli ma. Without ma. That the world is hanging because of Moshe and Aaron. Listen to this. This is beautiful. Why does the world exist? A person who's quiet during a fight, he doesn't react. The world is in existence because of him. We got to read it again. The world exists from people that control themselves during a fight and don't react. Shenemar, toila eretz al blima. The world is hanging on blima means to, how do you say blima in English? Shut. To like bolem. How do you say bolem? Bolem means to break it short, to stop it. He closes his mouth basically. It says muzzle the mouth? I don't like that word so much, but I don't know what's a better. Short of responding. No, it's seals is a better word, right? It's in the family of muzzles. Just muzzles means like an external device. Seal is you shut your mouth. Toiler Zablima is referring to somebody who acts ba'anava shenemar umitachas zrois oilam. That the hands, so to speak, that hold the world are mitachas. It's what's below your feet, that you treat yourself like dirt. We're going to focus on the word ha'umnam. Elam tzedek tedaberu. Meisharim tishbetu b'nei adam. What's a person's avodah they like to say? What's the avodah here? You ever heard them saying? What's the avodah in your guitar? What's the avodah in this Mercedes that you have? I don't know. They use this lashon, avodah. What's the avodah? So what's your avodah in this world? His job is to make himself like a mute, quiet. Oh, if you're supposed to be quiet, the Chofetz Chaim talks about this. What's the havamina? But I would think, listen, Hashem wants you to be quieter than your nature. So maybe in Torah also, instead of arguing, be nice about it. You should talk the truth. So when it comes to Torah, you have to say the truth, you have to argue. Maybe you should be about gaiva. Maybe it's a good idea to show people how much you know and how smart you are and how fast you are in learning. I hate those people, those show-offs that know, they remember everything about peh. I can't remember 4 lines of Gemara. Nah, I don't hate them. It's geschmack. It's good. The guys in our koil, I encourage them to show people because a lot of Chazarah, a lot of this. You go straight. Don't be about gaiva. Don't show off. So there's different. When it comes to Yoni Dalma, Stam people, you got to be quiet. Keep quiet. But when it comes to Torah, you speak your mind. Don't show off, but you speak your mind. Beautiful halacha. You have over here afar. Afar with an ayin means dirt. But the Gemara over here means the ashes. Mechasim ba'afar ir hanidachas. What's ir hanidachas? Beautiful video. Another nice video that we have here. Ir hanidachas is a city that most of the people, most of the inhabitants of the city do or perform avodah zarah. So the halacha is you have to kill them all by sword, sayif, and everything in the city, you can't benefit from anything, you have to burn it all. Now, they catch a deer. Be'ezer Hashem, I'm going to see one of those in the Yellowstone. They say they have beautiful antelopes there with the big, giant antlers. Now there's blood. Can you use the ashes of the Ir Hanidachas? Yes, shmak. They made this video just for the sugya. Kind of mitzvah. What, they use their helmets to fill it up? Oh, mechasim ba'afar ir hanidachas. You're allowed to use the ashes. Now, what's the problem? Aren't the ashes also b'hana? You're not allowed to benefit from anything. We're not talking about the ashes with the aleph. We're talking about the dirt with the ayin la'afar ofra afro. The chsiv is kol shelo tikboitz al terchoiv v'sorafta. What can't you benefit? These ashes, you have to, this dirt, the dirt, you have to come and take it off the ground, you have to pluck it, you have to gather it from the ground. That's already something that's not part of the Ir Hanidachas. Virava Amar Rav has another answer. Why could you use the ashes of Ir Hanidachas? Mitzvahs lav lehenois nitnu. To cover the blood of a chaya, that's a mitzvah, and it's not a beneficial thing. It's not like, oh, I have enough, I'm gaining from it. No, you're not gaining anything. All you did was a mitzvah. Mitzvah is not your benefit. It's not for you to benefit. Yosef Ravina v'kam al shmaita. So Ravina said this over about Rava, who said that mitzvahs lav lehenois nitnu eisvei Rav Rechumir l'Ravina. What about shofar shel avodah zarah li'itkaboy? It says halacha that if you have a shofar made of avodah zarah, you shouldn't blow shofar. My lavim takal yotza. That if you did blow the shofar, you're not yotza at all. Lo yim takal yotza. No, you shouldn't do it. But if you did, you're yotza the mitzvah. So over here also, you shouldn't maybe use this dirt or ashes. According to Rav, it's ashes. But if you did, you're yaitza the mitzvah of Kisei Adam. Now, it just happens to be that in Yonah D'Yoma, it's almost Rosh Hashanah, so there's a shaila if you're allowed to use a shofar of, let's say, the Muslims use their animals, they shech them, and they towards Mecca or whatever. Does the shofar have Hashem Avodah Zarah? It's a whole nidain. Some people are makpid only to use shofars from Argentina, etc. Says the Gemara, lulav shel Avodah Zarah lo yita. The lulav that somebody worshipped Avodah Zarah, you shouldn't shake it. My lav im not al yatsa, and if you did shake it, you're not yatsa the mitzvah. La im not al yatsa, you are yatsa. Just don't use it. It's not a good thing. Frankly, more very nice try. Vatanya taka lo yatsa, not al yatsa. It says you're telling me that if you blow the shofar of Avodah Zarah, you are yatsa. It says mufurish, you're not yatsa. You said that if you shake a lulav of Avodah Zarah, you are yatsa. You shouldn't do it, but you are yatsa. It says mufurish, you shouldn't do it. You're not yatsa at all. You're right. When it comes to shofar, what's here? If one halacha you learned today, something maybe you didn't know, does a shofar have a shear? Does it have to be a certain length? Very good. The length is enough that it pokes out from both sides of your hand when you hold it. So it's a little bit more than a tefach. It's kind of like a tefach, a little bit more. A little bit from this side, a little bit from that side. What about a lulav? A lulav should be 4 tefachim. 3 tefachim for the adasim and aravas, and 1 more tefach for the shaking of the lulav. So, since the irani dachas, you have to burn everything. So kol asarov, kol oimel sarev, kasarov dam. So there's a concept called katusei mechtashu, right? The shear is missing. Your 4 tefachim is actually not 4 tefachim anymore. So say the same thing by the dirt. Say that the dirt is missing a shear. No, the opposite. We want it to be chopped up thinner and better. So it's good for it to be chopped up. Hadrun Allah, kisi adam, hadrun Allah, kisi adam, hadrun Allah, kisi adam. Givaldik. It says in the pasuk, after Yaakov Avinu had the fight with the Malach, and he got him good, he hit him in the Gid HaNasha, he got him in the thigh. That's why till this very day we don't eat the Gid HaNasha. Sher al kafa yorech. It's on the spoon of the thigh. In other words, where there's a nice piece of meat. Till this very day we don't eat the Gid HaNasha. Ki noga, ki the malach noga b'kaf yerech Yaakov. That's where he hit him b'Gid HaNasha. So says the Mishnah Gid HaNasha noyeg. So what is the Gid HaNasha? Let's just show you at least one picture or two. It's a sinew that runs down those yellow guys. Now they're blue. The yellow are there's a chitzon and a pnimi, so we'll see in a second. There's the right and the left, which Rabbi Yehuda says it's only on the right. And here there's the gida pnimi. The blue one is that's the Dairaisa. The Chitzon, it's a machlokes is exactly what the Chitzon is. There's the Teimanim versus the Ashkenazim, but the Chitzon is the Rabbanon. The Ashkenazim say it's higher up, the Teimanim say it's lower down. If we want to see from the Shechita we did, so that is the Gid HaNasha, that stringy thing over there, that's sinew. You can also see the piece of flesh over there, maybe not. Okay. So it says the Mishnah, Gid HaNasha, noyeg ba'aretz u'b'chutz la'aretz. It applies the isser of eating it. It doesn't matter where you live, even in Chicago. B'fnei habayis v'shlei b'fnei habayis, whether we have a Beis Hamikdash or not. B'chulin u'b'mukdashim. It doesn't matter if it's carbon or not a carbon. So this is a nice chiddush because there's certain things that we just learned. We had chaylev, doesn't apply by a chaya. We had kisi adam. We just had very good kisi adam doesn't apply by a behema, only by a chaya. But this halach of Gid HaNasha is by both behema and chaya. B'yerech sheyimin u'b'yerech shesmayil on both sides of the animal. And it does not apply in a bird, in a chicken. He doesn't have that spoony, that piece of meat over there. He does have a Gid HaNasha, but he doesn't have the kaf. V'noig b'shlil. So this goes like Shitas Remeir in a Ben Pekua. We learned that a Ben Pekua, the fetus inside the mother, you don't have to shecht. Remeir holds in the 9th month, you do have to shecht that it's a rei, it's as if it's born. And Memela, it has its own isser of Giranasha, even though it's in its mother's stomach. If you doimer, Eino Noyeg, B'Shalil, Ben Pekua is mutter when you shecht the mother. V'chel by mutar, so this is Mordik. The fat of the Ben Pekua is mutter. The Giranasha of the Ben Pekua is mutter. That's why there are those who say that the Ben Pekua is parev. You could eat it with milk. The meat of a Ben Pekua, because it's not there. You see, there's no chaylev, there's no Giranasha. It's like it's its own little thing. The butchers are not believed to say, "Oh, we took out the Giranasha." Why? Because it's a lot of work to take it out. It's not true. A butcher is believed. He's believed to say he took out the Giranasha. He's also believed to say he took out all the fats that are awesome. Says the Gemara, Mugdashim Pshita. What's the chiddush? If I have an animal, think about it. I have an animal that has chaylev in it. I have an animal that has a Giranasha in it. And now I went and I made it an oila. So because I made it a carbon, that's why the Isser is going to fly away? What happened to the Isser of chaylev? What happened to the Isser of Giranasha? So why is the Mishnah telling me, even by a carbon, it's aser? Of course it's aser. Because I made it kaddish, that's why it should fly away. Perhaps you'll say a gid is tasty. In other words, it's like a piece of meat. It has flavor. You eat it. People eat sinews. Maybe the chiddush here is that even though it's already aser, this piece right over here, it has the isser beforehand. Today I'm going to add a second isser on top of it called eating a carbon. Now, usually I say ein isser chal al isser. In this case, I could say isser chal al isser. One isser applies itself on top of another isser because there's different reasons. Sometimes it's isser ma'isiv, sometimes it's more chamer, as the Gemara is going to say on top of that tzadik on aleph. So for whatever the reason is, the chiddush of the Mishnah is that you're chayiv 2 malchus, 2 isurim, one for eating a giranasha, and the second one, 2 months later, you applied another issa to it called eating a piece of a carbon. The problem is, so the wording is wrong. You're trying to tell me that the hegdish applies itself on top of the gid. What you said is that the gid applies itself onto mugdashim. It's the opposite. No, you know what? It doesn't have any flavor at all. I'm trying to lower the trauma here. I don't want to talk about nois and tam. Nois and tam just literally means it gives flavor, it doesn't give flavor. A gid, the sinew, doesn't have flavor. The chiddush is, you hear this? If you eat a piece of carbon, the gid of a carbon, that's what the Mishnah is telling me. That you're only over one. What's the isser? Gid anasha. But you're not over on eating a carbon. Why are you not over on eating a carbon? Because it's not edible. It doesn't have a flavor. If you eat a bone of a carbon, something that has zero flavor of a carbon, you're not a chayiv. It's a piece of wood. It's not a carbon. You're chayiv on the meat of a carbon. So now we're holding that the gid doesn't have flavor. As the Gemara, what? This Tana, our Tana of the Mishnah holds that a sinew doesn't have flavor? It does have flavor. How do I know? It says mafurish. Well, it's not. It says in the Mishnah. If I take this video right over here, take this whole piece, and I put it in a pot. Yeah, I put it in a pot, I cook it. Am I over? So it depends. What do you guys think? Is there 60 times meat the amount of gid hanasha?
Yeah,
probably. So if there's 60 amount of meat more than the gid hanasha, you're not over. Because then it'll be bottled in 60. You won't have a tam. But now, if it gives off flavor, if you could taste the sinew, in other words, it's less than 60 times the meat, not like in this picture. Hare is asura. No, but what do you see? That the Gid Anasha gives off flavor. What are you telling me? Gid Anasha doesn't have a flavor. Over here it says, depends. If it's less than 60 times the meat and it gives off flavor, you chayiv. Beautiful. We're not talking about an animal that you made a carbon today. We're talking about an animal that was a carbon from the moment it was created. How? It's the vlad, it's the fetus of a carbon. Shlamim. Because over noig b'shalil. You should know he holds that the sinew of a carbon is, the sinew of a fetus is asur. Because over vlad is kachim. Two things he holds. First of all, holds you can make a carbon when it's in the mother's stomach, when as a fetus it becomes a carbon. Second of all, the isser of Gid Anasha applies in a fetus. So what happened? The isser Gid Anasha, the isser Gid, the isser Mukdashim, they had other kasim. They were created simultaneously. When the fetus was created, so at that moment of creation, what's the word? Creation is not the good word. How do you say? In Hebrew, it's Yitzira. When the fetus was formed, at that moment, the Gid Anasha was formed. It became Asas Gid Anasha, and also became a carbon. So, made what? Yechayiv on two averis. Yechayiv two malchus. Ask the Gemara, almost done. 2 more minutes. How could you be telling me that it's talking about a fetus? All of a sudden, at the end of the Mishnah, it says, like 5 lines from the end of the Mishnah, smack in the middle of the Mishnah. That means before that you weren't talking about a fetus. Only now you're talking about a fetus. We started off the Mishnah talking about a fetus, and you should know that it's a machlokes Rabbi Yehuda Rabbanon. How can you say that the sinews, the Gid Anasha, and the carbon happened when it was formed initially simultaneously? What's the problem? But now we learned in the Mishnah, a nazir is somebody who vows not to benefit from any grape product, not to drink wine, not to eat chartzanim, not to become tamei to a dead person. And then he becomes tamei to a dead person. In middle of his, let's say, 30 days of Nazirus, he must start all over again and he must shave. But what does it say? These are the tumas that a Nazir must shave his entire body. Al hameis, v'al kizayis min hameis. If he touches a dead body, or a kizayis of a dead body. We asked the obvious question. Al kizayis min hameis megaleach, if he touches a small kizayis of a dead person, he has to shave himself. Al kuli lekolshkin, and if he shaved himself, if he touched an entire body, of course he's chayiv. So why do I have to say 2 cases? A kizayis and a whole mace. Answers the Gemara. We're talking about a miscarriage of a fetus that he wasn't even formed to the point he didn't have sinews. What does that mean? That means it's possible, as the Gemara, that he was a carbon before he had sinews. Because you see from here that there's such a thing called a nafel, a miscarriage, where this fetus doesn't have any sinews. This explains that it's like meat, it's very soft like meat, which later on becomes harder like sinews. The tzadik amud aleph on top. So what do you see? You see that sinews happens later on in the formation of the fetus. But first, he became a carbon. On day 1, he's a carbon. Maybe day 40, he gets sinews. I don't know what day. Says Gemara, Afagav, the Isra Mikdashim Kadim. You're right, he was a carbon first. Osi, Gid, Chayil Alayu. But you could still add the Isra of Gid Anasha to the carbon, and therefore you'd be Chayiv 2 karbanas if he eats the Gid Anasha. 1 for the Gid Anasha, 1 for a carbon. Why are you able to apply one Isra on top of the other? Because it is super usr. It's so usr that even a non-Jew, what do they call it? A Noahite. They even have today. People are makbid in the 7 commandments of the Noahites. Huh? Noahite laws. Very good. So because it's so awesome, they even Noach are chayiv in it. So Mela, it's Isser Chomer, and Isser Chomer could apply itself on top of another Isser Chalal Isser, and that's why you chayiv too. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you from Yellowstone Park, Be'ezer Hashem.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.